How's it going, everybody? And the best is, the best was, the best ever will be. There'll be none before me, there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Colby, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and Raw reviews, and then we'll have our NXT Deadline predictions, followed by your drink of the week, and a reading from the Book of Rules. Let's get into the news, though, as Kevin Nash has sounded off on CM Punk's return, saying for someone who says he's a pipe bomb, you kind of fizzled out. It just felt very contrived. In the end, oh shit, better slip this in so I have some credibility with the I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. For those of you who don't know, CM Punk came out on Raw and said, I'm home, in his first promo. Apparently people are saying that is not very CM Punk-ish. Now, I know he's trying to say it's definitely not what we expect from CM Punk. But I truly believe this is CM Punk just trying to show he's matured and trying to be a better person. Do I believe it? I don't know. But is it a good promo? I think so. Some unfortunate news, though, as Dutch Mantell has been hospitalized. Apparently he's been sick for a while, and his daughter has been helping him privately. He requests that everybody respect his family's privacy. He says he's going to be good, and he's praying for everybody's safety. But he has been sick, and Dutch Mantell, here's to you. Wrestling wouldn't be the same without Dutch Mantell in it, so hopefully he gets better. And a big name has signed a new WWE contract, a big legend. Apparently, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, is back in WWE. They have released some new merch for him. Very cool to see him back in WWE. I thought he was one of those names who would never, ever return to WWE. I thought he would be like a CM Punk guy. So the returns keep hitting. It's kind of shocking nowadays. For those of you who don't know Ken Shamrock, he was a big MMA fighter. He has since retired from MMA, and he actually went to Impact and had a very, very long run there. Why are my notes suddenly crashing? Well, this isn't good. I don't have any notes. Just give me 1 second, guys, while I fix this. Sorry about that, guys. So let's get into SmackDown. As Bianca Belair kicked off SmackDown, celebrating with her team from War Games. Bianca issued a challenge to Damage Control, saying it ain't over, and she wants the WWE Women's Championship back. Dakota Kai came out and said that Bianca will have to earn her title match against Io Sky by going through the whole Damage Control. Shotzi and Charlotte then came out and said they're coming for Damage Control. A brawl broke out, and it was then announced that Bianca will face Kairi Sane tonight. Damage Control asked where Bayley was during the opening segment. Dakota said Bayley should help Kairi for tonight's match since she has faced Bianca before. We then get Bobby Lashley versus Butch in a nice little match. Bobby Lashley was able to pick up the win with a hard spear, but everyone was focusing more on where Butch's partner, Ridge Holland, was. We then get Paul Heyman being very angry at Nick Aldis for inviting Randy Orton to tonight's SmackDown. Aldis said he plans to make Randy Orton exclusive to Raw and has offered the entire bloodline to Orton to make that happen. We then get Santos Escobar versus Joaquin Wilde. Santos Escobar was able to pick up the win against his former protege. It was after the match that Escobar kept beating down Wilde, and Dragon Lee had to come in to make the save. Logan Paul made his return to SmackDown this week as he asked where his haters now. Logan then announced an 8-man tournament to take place to determine his new number one contender. It would be Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. Karrion Kross. An NXT superstar, the almighty Bobby Lashley, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens would then come out for his match with Grayson Waller. Kevin Owens would pick up the win. Theory would then injure Owens' hand during the match. The commentators say it might be broken, and he would then be taken off for a little while. We then get an announcement that CM Punk will appear on next week's WWE SmackDown, the Tribute to the Troops. Cool to see they're doing the Tribute to the Troops episode. We then get Bianca Belair versus Kairi Sane. Bianca Belair was able to pick up the win. Bayley came out to interfere by slamming Bianca down by her hair braid, but it wasn't enough as she would pick up the win over Kairi Sane. We then get your main event of Randy Orton coming out to face off and finally choose which brand he's going to be on. As both managers would make their case, saying you have the Bloodline or you have the World Heavyweight Championship, and how he's always been more of a Monday Night Raw guy, but SmackDown was his original home, blah, blah, blah. You then get Paul Heyman coming out saying, don't choose SmackDown because the Tribal Chief will destroy you. You had the Bloodline try to attack Randy Orton. L.A. Knight, would come out to make the save. And you would have Randy Orton choose to sign with SmackDown, telling Paul Heyman to call Roman Reigns and tell him that Daddy's home. Very cool way to send off SmackDown. I really enjoyed Randy Orton's segment. I enjoyed the Bobby Lashley versus Butch match and the Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair match. A lot of filler, but you're going to get that when you don't have a pay-per-view for until January 27th. So you got a long way to go. Let's go Raw, though, as Raw kicked off with Drew McIntyre in the ring cutting a promo against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn would come out. This would lead to a match. Drew McIntyre would pick up the win after Sami looked to hurt his knee. Drew McIntyre would show no sympathy, hit a Claymore, 1, 2, 3, game over for Sami Zayn. McIntyre would then attack Sami Zayn backstage. Apparently they're using this as a way to write off Sami Zayn. We then get Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. An okay match. Nia Jax would pick up the win. I would have to say, besides Alexa Bliss, Shayna has always been one of those women that Nia Jax has always had chemistry in the ring with. So this is actually a fun match to watch. We then get DIY versus Imperium in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It would start off with Ludwig Kaiser hitting a hard punch on Gargano to pick up the first fall. Gargano would then pick up the second fall, and then DIY would pick up the win. Gunther would come. Ludwig Kaiser would show and say, you messed up, blah, blah, blah. DIY picks up the win. Very cool way to pick up the win for DIY, but I don't know what's going on with Imperium. We then get R-Truth showing up in the Judgment Day clubhouse, and still believing he's a member. Even went and bought a TV for the clubhouse. Thought that was funny. It was in black and white. R-Truth, man, he has been the MVP of WWE for so long. When his career ends, he will be a Hall of Famer. There's no if about it. When his career ends, he's going in a Hall of Fame. We then get Katana Chance versus Kaden Carter. Or Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Natalya and Tegan Nox. Very nice little match. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter would pick up the win. I felt this was a weird one. I thought they were building Natalya and Tegan Nox, but I guess not. Cody Rhodes would then call out Shinsuke Nakamura, and Nakamura said their stories were very close together, both winning the Royal Rumble, then losing at WrestleMania. Nakamura said he never finished the story, but he will finish Cody's story. I really like this feud. I really do. We then get the Creed Brothers versus the Judgment Day NXT North American Champion Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. They just put a title on McDonough, man. This is why I missed the hardcore title. And I'll even say that I kind of missed the 24/7 title. This would have been perfect for JD, man. It would have been. The Creed Brothers would pick up the win, beating the crap out of Dominic and JD, as R-Truth would be at ringside, trying to pretend he's a member of the Judgment Day. Thought that was funny. Now, in the old days, this is where I would have booked this. I would have booked that as Dominic and JD not even trying to win, just trying to do damage, just trying to beat down the Creed Brothers. Maybe grab a couple steel chairs, just beat them down, put them through a couple tables. That's what I would have booked it as. Because they would have been smart heels then. We then get your main event of Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso. Great match. These guys tore the fucking house down, as you had to know they would. Seth Rollins would pick up a win with the stomp. He would then raise Jay's hand to show, like, hey, this guy's awesome. He's a future main eventer. After the match, though, Drew McIntyre would attack both of them, putting Jay through the announcer's table, telling him he will soon see the error of his ways. It was a very fun Raw and very fun SmackDown. Really enjoyed this. I really hope that they build on the Drew Seth storyline for Royal Rumble and save the CM Punk storyline for WrestleMania. Have CM Punk win the Elimination Chamber, become the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then he goes on to face Seth at WrestleMania. Do not have that match at Royal Rumble unless it's a 3-match series. Just saying that. Let's go to NXT, ladies and gentlemen. I know I don't cover a lot of NXT in this, but this is a very cool one. The NXT Deadline. There, for those of you who don't know, the Iron Survivor Challenge. Let me explain it. 5 wrestlers compete in a match which lasts 25 minutes. 2 wrestlers will start the match, which begins the timer. Every 5 minutes, another wrestler enters. The 5th and final participant entering at the 15-minute mark. Each wrestler scores a pinfall, submission, or by being a victim of disqualification, they gain a point. The wrestler who is pinned or is submitted goes into a penalty box for 90 seconds. The winner of the match is dubbed the Iron Survivor and will get a future shot at the NXT Men's or Women's Championship. So the the Iron Survivor Challenge match right now is Dijak, Trick Williams, Josh Briggs, Braun Breaker, and it's the last chance match with Eddie Thorpe, Carmelo Hayes, Joe Coffey, and Tyler Bate. If I had to guess, Carmelo Hayes will go in there because there's no way they don't pull the Trick versus Carmelo storyline and Braun Breaker in there as well. That's gonna be fun. You know what? Yeah, I would say that. So I would go with, and to win it, Braun Breaker. I think you want to do Braun versus Ilya Dragunov for a nice match. I think it'll be fun. We then get the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge to determine the number one contender for the Women's NXT Championship. You got Tiffany Stratton versus Lash Legend versus Blair Davenport versus Kelani Jordan. And the winner of tonight's match, Thea Hall versus Roxanne Perez versus Filoni Helen versus Kiana James. I think Thea Hall's going to win that match. If I had to pick one, I think it would be Lash Legend is going to pick up the win there. I really like that feud, and I think Lash Legend can be a future NXT Women's Champion. We then get Ilya Dragunov versus Baron Corbin for the NXT Championship. look for Dragunov to retain here. I don't think they'll put it on Corbin. Corbin's awesome, but I just don't think his time has passed to be a main eventer, in my opinion. So we then get Dirty Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day versus Wesley for the North American Championship. I think we're going to start seeing the decline of the Judgment Day's power. Look for Wesley to pick up the win here and to become the new North American Champion. If not, I still think Dom's days with the title are numbered. Oh, God. After all that, I could use a drink. How about a Christmas drink? This one's called the Bone Daddy, a Nightmare Before Christmas drink with a little spookiness for Christmas. 1 part coffee liqueur, 1 part pumpkin spice liqueur, 1 part peppermint vodka, and ice. You're going to need a shot glass and some basic bar tools. What you're going to do is get rim the edge with a shot glass with chocolate syrup and then crush candy canes. Decorate the inside with some chocolate syrup. Add the coffee liqueur to the base of the shot glass before layering the pumpkin spice liqueur on top. Then add a layer of peppermint vodka, top with whipped cream and chocolate syrup and pumpkin spice and more crushed candy canes. This is a very fun drink. I've had it. I'm not a big coffee guy and I'm not a big peppermint guy, but I still really did enjoy this drink. It's a fun one. And it's definitely a cool Christmas drink in my opinion. So if you're looking for something fun, there you go. And now a reading from the Book of Rules. A note in the Book of Rules. Trunks and tights / shorts are for wearing, not for pulling to gain leverage in a pin. Do not attempt in a match with Rikishi. Also known for hiding brass knuckles. A reading from the Book of Rules. And now, everybody, it's time for the Battle Droid of the Week. The Battle Droid of the Week for me is Tegan Nox and Natalya. I thought they were building this tag team so well. And I liked the combination they had of the really cool veteran, the one who's done it all, who's considered one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, versus the NXT superstar who came to the main roster, has dealt with all the injuries, has dealt with everything to finally make it in the main roster. I thought that's what they were doing, but instead they're just feeding him to the wolves as just a tag team to be pushed into the back. Maybe they'll get more at WrestleMania. Who knows? But I truly believe they need to book this tag team better. And because of that, Natalya, Tegan, you are the Battle Droid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. Next week, we will kick off Royal Rumble. I know I said we were going to do that this week, but I decided to go with NXT Deadline and said I will kick off the Royal Rumble with Royal Rumble 2007, one of my favorites all-time winners. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. I have been the big guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Enjoy wrestling this week.